European basketball seems to just have so much more aura that the NBA doesn't have. Now, I've been a basketball fan for a very long time. NBA basketball, of course. I don't watch too much as of recent. There's a couple of players out there. I like, of course, Luka Doncic, which is not an American, European. And I don't like him just because, he's white. No, I'm kidding. No, I used to watch the Lakers all the time. I was a massive Lakers fan, and I kind of followed Luka when he was playing for Dallas. Went over to the Lakers. I'm like, all right, he's my new favorite player. But yeah, nonetheless, today we are checking out the NBA chose profit, Europe chose passion. This one coming from Business Explains the World. Curious to see what we're in store for today. Hopefully I get to see the inside of like a full game. I'm assuming this is kind of cinematic. It kind of looks like it, but nonetheless, smash the like button and let's dive in. Belgrade, Serbia. All right, let's get the volume up. Oh, this was on New Year's Eve?
That was footage that I recently got from some new internet friends. And this is footage of me at a recent NBA game. Spot the difference?
The fans definitely seem more excitable during the game, I'm guessing. But okay, let's just talk about that.
They are off the chain, right?
That contrast got me wondering, why does basketball, and perhaps every sporting event, look so much more fun in Europe?
Yes. It does seem like that with pretty much every sport. I mean, obviously you guys don't play American football, but actual football, basketball, cricket, hurling, I mean, like every sport that I've checked out inside of Europe just has, like I said, like an aura, like just so much more energy and passion throughout the sport. I don't know why Americans lack that. I would say the closest we get to it in American sports is probably college football, maybe. Or like during the playoffs, people get a little more excited, but yeah, it's kind of boring sometimes. Hockey's good. I like watching hockey. Best live sport to go to is hockey.
I compared team histories in a lot of sports on both sides of the Atlantic, talked with journalists, scholars, and former players, attended a couple games myself, and looked into the very origins of sports as businesses. And I think I found the answer. Full disclosure, I played one season of rec basketball at the YMCA when I was 9 or so, and I haven't really engaged with the sport at all since. Until the last 2 months, when I've been truly inundated with research and a little practice myself.
Basketball was my favorite sport to play when I was a kid, and it was the one I was the best at. I was a defensive player, good rebounding, good stealing, couldn't shoot worth a shit.
What I wanted to do was to show this footage to some of my Dynamo colleagues, a few of whom actually follow professional basketball, to see if they had any theories about what's going on. This is a closed basketball arena.
So wild. Fucking crazy.
Oh, here's a good one.
Whoa! Handheld fireworks in the middle of a crowd? That's nuts.
Yeah. We'll get more into the economics of the EuroLeague and the NBA a little bit later, but first, I had to ask, what stops NBA games from having this amount of verve?
Oh, she's gonna go to an NBA game?
To find out, I hopped a train to New York to attend my first ever NBA game.
The teams are warming up before the game, and when the Knicks came out, they got kind of a lukewarm clapping.
Okay, I think this might be the problem here. This was last year. Actually, you know what? I think the Knicks are pretty good now. I'm not too sure. Like I said, I'm not caught up on NBA basketball, but the Knicks were horrible for like 2 decades.
It's much better than it was earlier. I don't know if this is a thing that they do in Europe, but we're being assaulted with t-shirts. It's called the t-shirt toss. But this is the most verve we've seen is for the free merch.
Yeah, let me know if you guys do that. What she's referencing is like they shoot t-shirts out of a cannon.
Badly there.
All right, so here's
less than a minute to go.
This is how they do it.
No. Oh my goodness.
What the hell? He says, oh my goodness. It's pretty common. They do it all the time.
I say this with no judgment towards either experience. This I'm just relaying what I saw. But I think after seeing that and after seeing what happens at a EuroLeague game, specifically a derby like Partizan versus Red Star, they're just fundamentally different fan experiences, even though they revolve around the same sport.
Why this massive difference? It's a complicated answer that took me down several rabbit holes of cultural and political histories in both the US and Europe. But this show is called Business Explains the World. So in the end, I chose to focus on economic and business reasons. Well, I think I've narrowed it down to 4 factors, the last of which is, in my opinion, the most important. So let's breeze through these other 3 pretty quickly. Well, so first reason is the TV, the commercial breaks. I was surprised that the TV breaks happened as often as they did and lasted for as long as they did. I was like, this really takes the wind out of any energy I might have. The second is the arenas themselves. American arenas just seem to be a lot fancier. They have a lot more luxurious options, and you can kind of sit in your air-conditioned box with your personal chef and just watch the game as if it's a show. The third is relegations. There's the top league, secondary league, average league, and then what we're calling the shit league at the very bottom. Oh, here it is. Yeah, we have the shit league, just okay league. This is where I would be if I were ever on any sports team.
The shit league.
And I would get relegated down to the shit league. So TV timeouts, arenas, and relegation. I think those 3 reasons go pretty far in explaining this massive fan difference. But I didn't think they were entirely...
I gotta say, I absolutely love that your guys' sports over in Europe don't have TV commercial breaks. I know she's talking about it when you're in the game. It kind of takes the wind out of the arena. Sometimes it's a little nice, though, because I'm sure when you're at a game, you want to get a beer or a hot dog or something. You don't want to wait for a timeout. You know that one's coming because there's going to be a commercial break. But then again, when you're watching it on TV, it's kind of annoying.
Efficient. So let's talk business. The NBA's predecessor came to be when basically a bunch of owners and promoters of ice hockey arenas looked around their empty arenas on non-game nights and thought, surely there's a way to make money here. They formed the Basketball Association of America in 1946, absorbed a rival league in 1949 to make the NBA, and are now the second most profitable sports league in the world. Behind
the second most profitable sports league in the world. Really? I don't feel like anybody here watches the NBA anymore. But all right, we'll keep going. I'm not sure if I believe it. I mean, this was about a year old, so I'm sure these stats are... No, this was 2023. They might have dropped off.
Of course, American football. It's the owners who decide when new teams should join and where they should play based on market potential in different cities. The NBA was always going to develop this way. It was just following a profit-motivated blueprint set by Major League Baseball decades prior. A business, see? Now, compare that to the origins of Serbian basketball teams, or really any European team and league. When they developed, they followed the blueprint set by English soccer. And that blueprint was distinctly not for profit. Instead of being created by wealthy owners, teams formed out of community-organized and run sports clubs. And the point was not to make money. It was more about community involvement and health and fun. And they often relied on membership dues or government funds to stay afloat. Intercity rivalries often reflect long-standing economic or political beefs. Fans crowded into stadiums that often had far fewer seats than people who wanted to attend, and teams rarely moved cities. So whatever traditions, chants, songs were created back in the early days have largely stuck around.
Today, despite the fact the club might be owned by somebody in a different country, they're still seen or regarded as a reflection or a representation of the city or the town itself.
American sports commercialized and professionalized earlier and much more thoroughly than European sports. And there, I submit to the comment section, lies the difference. These different origins affect today beyond just fan behavior. NBA teams are, on average, worth about $4 billion, and revenues from...
$4 billion? That's wild. I didn't know they were worth that much. I thought maybe at the most 500 million or maybe $1 billion. $4 billion?
Individual seasons range from 250 million on the low end to 760 million at the top. EuroLeague teams are much more tight-lipped about their finances, but the overall league revenue in 2022 was estimated to be about 650 million US dollars. That is more than $100 million less than the top-performing NBA team. Revenue from tickets, merch, and especially media broadcasting are huge cash cows for the NBA. But similar activities in the EuroLeague are rarely enough to cover a team's expenses, let alone turn a profit. We've come really far, but I still wondered. We're all human. We all have that primordial part of our brain that we could tap into to summon rabid fandom for our chosen teams. It's been part of our history literally the world over forever. So I did a little more digging, and I think we're comparing the wrong leagues. See, I'm on my way right now to an NCAA basketball game. And according to my tickets, UConn is the basketball capital of the world. I don't know if I believe that, but, see for yourself. I came across some research by a Dutch professor, and it kind of confirmed a growing suspicion that I had. That the European sports club system is a lot more similar to American college and university sports than it is professional sports.
Okay.
They have long histories in specific communities, potentially with fierce rivals just a town or state over. They're much more accessible, both for fans and players, than the professional leagues. I mean, these tickets cost me $25 each. They're more likely to have home and away sections in stadiums and arenas. And
Yeah, see what I was talking about. The college sports, people obviously it's a younger generation watching it, so they're gonna have a little bit more energy than your 55-year-old rich dude sitting at a Golden State Warriors game.
their own raucous traditions.
Oh God, that chant.
And most importantly, if you rewind to the origins of the American collegiate system and the European club system, you end up at the same place. Basically, in the mid-1800s in both the US and Europe, students were spending a lot of their free time playing sports. Universities on both continents first denounced this as like a violent distraction from what you're there to do, study. So they tried to squash it. But of course, the kids didn't stop. This is where the divergence happens.
I had no idea.
European universities basically said, fine, keep playing your sports, just keep us out of it. So students either formed new sports clubs or joined existing sports clubs that were entirely independent of their schools. American universities, meanwhile, said, fine, keep playing your games, but we are going to get a lot more involved. Thus, today's flourishing collegiate athletic landscape began. And also why I'm about to attend my second ever basketball game to really try to see if the fan experience differs at all from the NBA game. I'm already getting
I bet you it's way better. I'd put all my money on it.
the buzz and excitement from just being here. I can't even record in here. It's going to be too loud the whole time. You definitely won't be able to bring flares in or throw beer cans at the players. And there weren't any major fight songs or group jumping.
There's no way. Y'all throw beer cans at the players? That's crazy. That's crazy work.
But the energy was definitely better than at the NBA game.
Yeah.
I came to my neighborhood basketball court to strip the game down to its core. No worries about profits or flares in the stands, just pure love of the game. Yeah! Oh, so close. I think the biggest takeaway is this. While both NBA teams and EuroLeague teams are businesses in the sense that they have merchandise, revenues, customers, etc., their very different origins and modern priorities make for super different modern-day struggles. Every business chooses which stakeholders to prioritize. For the EuroLeague and the clubs that form it, that's generally the fans and society more widely. The outcome? It overflows with fan passion, but lacks profit. The NBA has the opposite problem. By perhaps prioritizing profits a little too much, they risk losing longtime fans.
No.
As evidenced by declining TV ratings and a growing seeming disillusionment among fans. For long-term success in
An American sports league prioritizing profits? I've never heard of this before.
any business, not just basketball, balancing those two factors is key. Do you want to be a McDonald's with absolute market saturation and juggernaut profits, or an In-N-Out with much smaller profits but a loyal, dare I say, cult-like following? For the
Well, for
NBA,
sure,
an
In-N-Out.
opportunity to reevaluate how they do things is on the horizon. They're planning an imminent expansion into Europe. So maybe now they'll be able to both capture some of that sweet, sweet fan
Wait, did she
passion
say
and
that they're-
to reevaluate how they do things is on the horizon. They're planning an imminent expansion into Europe. So maybe now they'll
Really?
be able to both capture some of that sweet, sweet fan passion and turn a serious profit. Oh, imagine if I'd made it though. That would have been so cool.
I think the I think the NFL is trying to get a team. Was it the UK? I think the NFL is like trying to get a team in the UK or down in South America as well. Pretty wild. I'm sure you guys are just happy with the way that your sports are run. I think it's most likely, I would assume that the tickets are fairly affordable at a EuroLeague basketball game. And when you make it more accessible, you actually get the true fans that want to go to the game rather than here when you have the NBA. Like if I wanted to go to a game, I would probably end up spending anywhere from $500 to $700, I would assume, just for one night out to go to a basketball game. I don't even have a basketball team here where I live, but, you know, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because if you're a super fan, you can't afford that. You're not going to go to the game, but if the prices are cheaper, you're going to get the real fans there who are going to be a lot more jacked, a lot more energy. So yeah, all right, that was a great video, really, really good. I'll have a link for it down in the description below if you guys want to go check it out again. And without... I forgot what I was going to say. I'm getting out of here. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.